Have you ever wondered what it was like to live in a city under siege, cut off from the rest of the world? This was the reality for the residents of Leningrad during World War II. The siege of Leningrad, a grueling chapter in human history, lasted a staggering 900 days. It is considered one of the most devastating sieges in the annals of warfare. The city, formerly known as St. Petersburg, was a vital stronghold and symbol of Soviet resistance during the war. The siege, initiated by German and Finnish forces, aimed to starve the city into submission. But the citizens of Leningrad, against all odds, held on. They demonstrated a profound depth of resilience and ingenuity, turning a tale of desperation into one of survival and triumph. Their story is a testament to the indomitable human spirit. Let's delve into the chronicles of history to understand the resilience of human spirit during the siege of Leningrad. The siege of Leningrad didn't happen in a vacuum. It was a part of a larger conflict, World War II. As we delve into the events leading up to the siege, we see that the city of Leningrad found itself in a precarious position. To the west, the German forces mobilized their might, while to the north the Finnish forces, once allies, now stood as adversaries. Leningrad was a jewel both sides desired. A city with rich history and strategic importance. It was in the summer of 1941 when the German forces initiated Operation Barbarossa, a full-scale invasion of the Soviet Union. The German army, along with their Finnish allies, advanced rapidly, encircling Leningrad by September. The city was cut off from the rest of the Soviet Union, its lifeline severed. As the encirclement tightened, the Soviet Union launched several attempts to break the siege, but to no avail. Operation Northern Light, launched in September of 1941, aimed to disrupt the German forces and break the blockade. However, the Soviets were met with fierce resistance and the operation ended in failure. The Soviets tried again in January of 1942 with Operation Spark, again met with little success. Despite their best efforts, the city remained under the iron grip of the German and Finnish forces. The encirclement was complete, and the city was cut off from the outside world. The Soviets made a few more attempts throughout the year, each one met with the same fate. The city was trapped, its people cut off from the rest of the world. The situation was dire, the outlook bleak, and thus, the stage was set. The city was surrounded, its inhabitants trapped. The siege of Leningrad was about to begin. With the city surrounded, the stage was set for one of the longest and most destructive sieges in history. Imagine being trapped in your own city with no way out and limited resources. This was everyday life for Leningrad's residents. Life under the siege was a brutal test of endurance and willpower. The city, once vibrant and bustling, became a shadow of its former self. Streets were strewn with debris. Buildings wore the scars of relentless artillery fire, and the once lively squares echoed with an eerie silence, punctuated only by the distant rumble of cannons. Leningrad's residents faced a grim battle for survival. Food and fuel were scarce. The harsh Russian winter found the city ill-prepared, with no heating and dwindling supplies. The rationing system was introduced, but the daily rations were heartbreakingly meager. A loaf of bread, so small and so lacking in nutrition, was often the only thing standing between the people and starvation. Yet, amidst this bleak landscape, the human spirit shone through. Resourcefulness became the order of the day. Residents took to cultivating any open land, growing vegetables wherever they could. Wood from abandoned homes was used for fuel. Everyone, young and old, pitched in. They understood that survival was a collective effort. The constant threat of artillery fire was a grim reminder of the war raging around them. The city became a fortress, with every citizen a soldier. Schools, hospitals, factories, all were targets, yet they functioned, as did the city, in defiance of the siege. This was a period of extraordinary resilience. Residents of Leningrad, in the face of severe adversity, held on to their humanity. They continued to educate their children to make art, to make music. They held on to the hope that the siege would lift and life would return to normal. The siege was a crucible, forging a sense of community and resilience among Leningrad's residents. They faced death, hunger, and cold, yet they stood firm, their spirit unyielding. Despite the harsh conditions, the spirit of Leningrad's residents remained unbroken. Their resilience and resourcefulness are a testament to the human ability to endure and adapt even in the darkest of times. After 872 days, the siege of Leningrad came to an end, but not without a fight. The Soviet Union launched Operation Spark in January of 1943, as a desperate bid to break the stranglehold the German army had on Leningrad. The operation was a calculated risk, a dance on the razor's edge. The Soviet High Command assembled a force of over 500,000 soldiers, thousands of tanks and artillery pieces, and a significant number of aircraft. The Soviet forces were pitted against the German 18th Army, a formidable adversary that had held Leningrad in its grip for over 2 years. The operation began with a torrent of fire from Soviet artillery, followed by a ground assault on the German positions. Despite the ferocity of the Soviet attack, the German resistance was fierce. The battle raged for days, with neither side willing to give an inch. The harsh winter weather added another layer of difficulty, turning the battlefield into a frozen hellscape. However, the Soviet forces were determined. They fought for every street, every building, every inch of their city. Slowly but surely they began to push the Germans back. After 7 long days of relentless fighting, the Soviet forces managed to open a narrow corridor to the city, effectively breaking the siege. The breaking of the siege of Leningrad was a turning point in the Second World War. It not only marked the first major defeat of the German army in the Eastern Front, but also signaled the beginning of the end for Hitler's dream of Lebensraum. The victory boosted the morale of the Soviet forces and gave them the momentum they needed to push the Germans back further. The operation was a testament to the resilience and determination of the Soviet people. Despite the odds stacked against them, they refused to surrender, choosing instead to fight tooth and nail for their survival. The siege of Leningrad was finally over, but the scars it left behind would last a lifetime. The siege of Leningrad was more than a military conflict. It was a human tragedy that left a lasting impact. In the aftermath of the siege, the city was a shell of its former self. The grandeur of Leningrad's architecture was marred by the scars of relentless bombardment, and the streets echoed with the ghosts of the past. The death toll was staggering. Over 1 million civilians lost their lives, succumbing to starvation, disease, and the bitter cold. The survivors were left with the indelible mark of war, their lives forever shaped by the memories of those 900 days. But from the ashes of destruction, Leningrad rose once more. The city's recovery was a testament to the resilience and spirit of its people. They rebuilt their homes, resurrected their culture, and restored the city's vibrant life. It was a slow and painstaking process, but their determination was unwavering. The legacy of the siege of Leningrad extends far beyond the city limits. It stands as one of the most prolonged and devastating sieges in history. It's a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the human capacity to endure even in the face of unimaginable hardship. The siege also played a significant role in shaping the course of World War II. It was a turning point demonstrating the strength and resolve of the Soviet Union. The bravery and resilience of the citizens of Leningrad became a symbol of resistance, inspiring others to stand against the forces of fascism. Today, the siege of Leningrad is commemorated in monuments, literature, and music. It lives on in the collective memory of the Russian people and is etched into the annals of history. It serves as a powerful reminder of the cost of war, the strength of the human spirit, and the enduring power of resilience. The siege of Leningrad is a testament to human resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship. It is a chapter in history that should never be forgotten. The siege of Leningrad was a dark chapter in human history, but it also showcased the indomitable spirit of humanity. We've traced the events leading up to this grim ordeal, the chilling realities of life under siege, and the heroic efforts that eventually broke the blockade. We saw how Prelude strategies set the stage for this epic conflict, and how the city's inhabitants faced unimaginable hardships, demonstrating unparalleled resilience. The breaking of the siege was a testament to human perseverance, where bravery and strategic planning played pivotal roles. The aftermath, though marked by loss and devastation, also heralded the beginning of a journey towards healing and remembering. This unfathomable tragedy, however, has also left us with a legacy of courage and fortitude etched deeply in the annals of history. The story of the siege of Leningrad serves as a reminder of the human capacity for resilience and survival, even in the darkest of times.